Good evening, everyone, and welcome to LowRollerz, where the stakes are high and the rolls are always low. I'm Lou, and I'm by myself tonight. Figured it was time we do an episode that each of us could do that I'm sure a lot of podcasters have done, where they kind of just let you get to know each individual personally, in a way. They can say whatever they want people to know whatever they want about themselves, however they want to go about it. So, yeah, I'm Lou, 32 years old. I'm old. I feel old. Been doing this for not too long. I've always kind of wanted to do podcasting / voiceover work for a while. Since I was a kid, I've always wanted to be an actor type thing. Was in drama club in high school or middle school. Even did plays outside of school. Always recorded videos on an old camcorder that my mom would have when I was a kid. Always just loved being in the center of attention. Wanted people always to see what I was doing. Doing like voices and things like that I've always done over the years has always been a talent that I have. I get it from my mom. Me and my sisters and most people in our family do more or less the same things. We always just impersonate different people or do different accents or just talk in a certain way. And it just kind of stuck with me. Acting has always been a passion for me. I wanted to be an actor, as I stated already. Like I said, I did drama club. I did The Little Mermaid. I did The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Never got to finish it because grades kind of sucked. And they tried bumping me down to a lesser important role. So I just said, nope, not doing it. If I can't be the role I was originally offered, then I don't want to do it. So I didn't go to either night. Said, fuck it. When I was in middle school, it was 7th grade, I tried out for the Little Mermaid. Got the role as a character called Spyglass. No, that is not an actual character from the Disney Little Mermaid or anything like that. It was just a story I think made up or was actually from the actual story of the Little Mermaid or however. But yeah, in our school we had I gotta say, completely off topic, talking to yourself in a podcast is very strange. It's very weird. You're so used to people responding back. I'm literally sitting in my living room talking to myself, kind of just sharing things with you, the listeners. And I'm glad you're here to listen to me. And if you're not, well, hey, I tried. Thanks for tuning in. So, yeah, you're going to get a lot of yawning from me. For some reason, the past couple of days, I've been tired. And I can't even explain why. Because I feel like I've been getting sleep. I've been getting tired. I guess I'm getting older than I should be. Ugh, disgusting. Oh, goodness. But back to the topic at hand. So, I was a character named Spyglass, where he was pretty much a peg leg guy. He was a pirate, pretty much. Ship captain. And how they did plays at my middle school is they would have two of the same characters of certain characters that one night one person would play a specific character on a kids' night where it's all kids. The other one, it was adults, where teachers, your parents, other adults in the city and or town were able to come and witness it. The kids one, you figure it's pretty easy to impress a kid. Kids aren't that hard to impress for the most part, unless they're one of those extremely smart kind of like they don't watch any cartoons type. Then you might as well be trying to impress an adult. Now, I had the luxury to be the spyglass for the adults. Everybody always wanted to do the adult one because that one they feel they would get noticed more because it's the adults. For the kids, it's like, all right, it's your friends, some of your friends, just other kids and everything like that. But the adults, it was like, it was open to everybody. So you're like in a bigger audience. Boy, was I nervous. But I got selected for it. And I couldn't have been happier. I nailed it. Songs are great. I wish I got the lead role, but I was too much of a shy kid, so the one that I got was just perfect. Just worked for me. I'm a goofball, so it worked. I think that same year I tried out for a talent show. Shockingly, it wasn't any sort of acting. I tried to be a comedian because I thought I was funny. There was a couple of kids that went before me, and most of them were doing like, oh, knock knock jokes, or oh, why did the chicken cross the road type jokes, stupid shit. Then I went up and I just acted like myself. Acted stupid, doing crazy voices and not really asking like knock knock jokes or anything like that. Just going off the rails, having fun. Came down from the stage and then my buddy went up and he was a fantastic dancer, still is. And, well, they were announcing the winners and your boy got runner-up. Mainly because his good friend won. He was dancing to Michael Jackson. Which, he did a great job at. Did a fantastic job. I wouldn't have been happier. I would have been upset if it was someone else. If it was a knock knock joke kid, I'd have been pissed. But no, it was my friend who has been dancing all his life. I just went up there and made people laugh. That's all I did. But I got runner up. And we won money for it, so I can't complain. I think I won like $80. Hey. Young teenage kid winning $80 back in like the early 2000s. Hey, you can get an outfit for something. Nowadays, $80 might be able to get you a few things out of the grocery store, maybe some milk and juice and steak or whatever, but they ain't gonna get nothing else. So, fast forwarding ahead, now we're in 8th grade. And in between this time, I also did chorus. I got pretty much recruited from a high school chorus teacher. Me and another friend of mine saying, "You guys sound so good. Can't wait for you to come to high school. Please look out for us. We want you to be there." Never did it. So remember that. All I was saying was Hakuna Matata. That's all I was saying. But apparently I got noticed and they wanted me to do it. Even in our chorus concert, they had me portray Simba. Go figure, right? Now, back to the play part, to the drama club. I was casted as, if you know, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the Chronicles of Narnia. If you know any of that, Aslan, the lion. I got casted as Aslan. It's a pretty big role, pretty major character. Kind of like a support/main character, and I was doing great, getting the songs down for the most part. Couldn't remember one little bit of this one song. Had the costume out ready. I was acting it out. I could literally do the roar, I'm sure plenty of you would love to hear me do that, but that'll be for another future episode, which we'll get to in a second. But I did great. I feel I did good. And guess what? I was going to perform during the adult night again. So, like I said, my grades weren't that great, unfortunately. So, I got told, as much as they would love for me to be there, I would have to step down and play a different role. Even though I put all this time into practicing this role as Aslan the Lion, they wanted me to play a minor role. I might as well have been playing a fucking tree. So I said, no, not going to do it. I was upset. Yeah, I was very upset. But it is what it is. I come to find out karma bit them in the ass, because the kid who ended up taking my spot got laryngitis. He couldn't talk. So they had to have the chorus teacher sing most of his parts. And he had to go around with the microphone literally attached right in front of his face so they could hear him. I laughed about it and was like, well, that's what y'all get for not just letting me play my part. It would have been a fantastic play. And never went back and did it again. I did play as the Phantom of the Opera. I almost forgot about that one. Damn, memories are just flooding back. But no, I've always done acting. Voice acting didn't start crossing my mind until roughly about 10, 12 years ago is when it started popping up. And before that, Me and a couple of my buddies would always we started getting into the YouTube channel that we called Chat TV. We did skits, we did news reports, we did all types of things known to humanly possible. And to us, we found it hilarious. We made things called Revving Up with the Rednecks. We had Scream Revelations, WFUK News. Like, we had so many ideas, and every time my sister yells at me saying, "Why didn't you just keep going with it? When's the next video gonna come out?" And a couple of my nephews always ask, "When's the next little teaser trailer video for Scream Revelations gonna come out?" And I keep saying, I'm going to get to it, and I never do. That is possibly my one biggest weakness, is procrastination and just self-doubt. I hate that goddamn thing. It goes off every once an hour, and it's just ridiculous. I never heard of a place that uses hot water and oil at the same time. It makes zero sense to me. But that just distracted me a little bit. And so we did YouTube for a good couple of years, trying our damnedest to get out there. We even started doing ghost hunting and putting up evidence, everything. Don't get me wrong, we did get videos that blew up. We had so much shit. I even tried doing rap. I did rap a little bit in high school, and it was fun, but it wasn't my thing. I guess voice acting or doing something with your voice stemmed from then, but it never really stood out to me. So now fast forward a couple of years after the YouTube kind of like died off a little bit, I met Chris. And Chris got me back into anime, like really into anime again. And I was kind of just watching the normal stuff like Naruto, One Piece here and there, Dragon Ball, whatever. But I wasn't really like into it. Now I'm a full-blown nerd. And now Chris doesn't watch as much as he used to, which I tell him to go fuck himself. Like, you got me watching shit when we first met. And you would get on me for not watching shit. And then you disappeared and stopped watching shit. But I get it. Life happens. However, me and him got bored one day, and I started thinking, you know what? I kind of really want to try and become a voice actor. He's like, oh yeah, I always thought about it, from doing YouTube and Twitch. I've always thought about, hey, let me try to do this. But he always thought like his voice didn't stand out, or he just couldn't do it. Which I get it. But I told him, I was like, look, let's go on this thing called Behind the Voice Actors. They have casting calls on there that people do fan-made shit, and we can at least get some stuff on there. That way we get like our own reels, and we could do something from it. And we tried out for a couple of different things. We tried out for this fairy tale fan dub thing. Both me and Chris did it. Chris didn't get it, unfortunately. I did. I got an email saying, hey, we really liked your voice for, I think it was Loxus. And I was like, oh yeah, like I'm definitely down for it. But I beat myself up because that was my opportunity to do something, and I let it slip away. And it kills me to know that I had a chance. No matter how small it was, I had a chance to do it, to do something, and I didn't. Because of God knows what. I was never really financially fortunate. I always struggled with saving money for a time. I did it once, and for some reason, was never able to do it again. But I always made that, for some reason, my biggest excuse as to why I never continued with trying to do voice acting is because, I don't have the money to get the right equipment. Because, my ass wants to be Mr. Perfectionist and do everything correctly. Which, you should. You should try to do everything the best you can. And it gets hard, And, being a father of a 5-year-old, soon to be 5-year-old, engaged in kind of like a shitty economy where I wish I kept on with YouTube back then. I wish I pursued the voice acting when I did. I wish I didn't stop in high school from doing drama club because I knew I was good at it. I knew I was good at doing something, and I didn't. I just wanted to go home and enjoy my life, but never did. Well, look at me on this podcast with two of my good friends. Some great special guests will come in. I'm here to talk to you today about our future in LowRollerz. That name does roll off the tongue, but sometimes it can get all jacked up in there. We did have another podcast ideas over like the past couple of years. I tried a couple things here and there. I tried doing single ones. We did have a bigger podcast where it didn't take off or anything really, called Hazard Inc. We had multiple people on there. It was too many people, I think. I think we had almost like 6 or 7 people all involved in this podcast, all because we just wanted all our friends to be in it, and just kind of everybody would come in every now and again to do a segment. And which is going to bring me to a topic in a moment. But we did that. One episode blew up and we disappeared. Didn't come back. A majority of that was my fault. I kind of just lost the motivation because I just felt like it wasn't doing anything, wasn't going anywhere. I didn't have the time. And now, well, I try to make time. I try to stay on a strict schedule. I missed one time so far on the specific date, but we're trying to stay on top. That's why I'm doing one now, whether if it's just with myself. Don't care. I hope that, Chris and Matt would be willing to do this however they would want to do it. But if they don't, hey, it is what it is. But I'm glad we're doing it now because it kind of gives me something to look forward to, especially because I've been really listening to Markiplier's Distractible. I've talked about this with Chris and Dalton before. on a podcast episode that never got released because the audio was horrible. But I've been watching Markiplier for quite some time. I didn't watch him like right in the beginning when he first started doing YouTube. I'm not going to say I was. I've heard of him before that, but I wasn't a big YouTube person. I really watched YouTube like that. Like I did, obviously, because I did YouTube videos. But I guess my type of videos I wanted to watch weren't Let's Plays and things like that. You know, it was people making skits and dumb shit, you know. But eventually, over the years, I started to watch a little bit more of Markiplier. And sorry, Bob and Wade, I didn't really know who you were until I wasn't drunk Minecraft. I want to say, oh my god, I can't even remember. Oh my goodness, when did I first start hearing about Bob and Wade? It might have been a couple of like videos that Mark has done, but I can't really remember them. But I know I heard the names, Bob and Wade. You've always been in every single one of his videos almost. But, you know, obviously Markiplier blew up more. We all know that. You know, Chris has told me like he would watch Wade a lot. He watched Bob. You know, Dalton said he watched Bob a lot. He's a Bob guy. You know, and I started really getting more into like learning more about Bob and Wade and Distractable. And I'm mad I never got to watch Bob and Wade or do anything with Bob and Wade until then. But now that I do, I love it. Love them both. Love all three of you guys. You guys make my day. I look forward to getting into my car, throwing on Spotify, and listening to the episode. Even though you have video up, I still listen to it. And then even when I'm at work and I want to go back and watch what just happened when I was listening to it, so I can laugh at what you guys were laughing at, or however, then I'm going to do it. And since I've been listening to it, I got a motivation out of nowhere to want to just put episodes out as much as I can, as best as I can. I may not have the best quality. I may not have an editor. I may not be able to add sound effects or special effects, anything like that. But I want to start somewhere. I want to be able to just keep doing it just to have fun. And there's going to, of course, be that one episode that's going to just blow up. And I want to keep writing it and then get more audience, you know, get a platform. And it is very hard. Very fucking hard. You know, it's a little easier for obviously Bob, Wade, and Markiplier and Mark, you know, all of them because they had YouTube prior to this. I'm not knocking them for like, you know, being like, oh, like they had it handed to them, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. No. You know, there's nothing handed to them. No matter who you are, no matter what it is, a podcast does take a while to blow up. Because they even had a podcast they said before called Three Peens in a Pod. You know, I never really heard of it. Granted, I wasn't really a big podcast listener until recently. You know, so there's that. But I'm sure it took off, but not as much as Distractable took off. So for them, they had a little bit more leeway because of coming from YouTube and doing the podcast and everything like that. You know, I would love, absolutely love to meet Mark, Bob, and Wade. I feel like I almost could have met them a good couple of years ago. I don't know whether if it was the You're Welcome tour or it was a different type of tour, but me and my buddy Chris were going to go meet them, but we couldn't make it, and it was going to be in Philly. and we couldn't make it because of either scheduling conflicts with work or money. It was something like that to where we're just like, we're not going to be able to make it. So I know like they don't like really do the tours, or they don't really go to like cons or anything like that, especially with Mark coming out with his movie. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to go see it. And Bob having his kid, and, everybody has their own personal life outside of social media and being in the fame and all that. But I still would love to meet them and just kind of have a good conversation on tips on how to better your platform. But then sometimes I feel like I don't even have to. I just listen to their episodes, and sometimes they talk about it. They give you inspiration. They give you motivational words, whether they mean to or not. I know when I still do want to try to be a voice actor, and if this helps me open that door to that, then great, fantastic. If not, then it is what it is. At least I'm having fun. Because I did meet a voice actor, and I did actually get to ask the questions I wanted to ask. And how can I go about and trying to become a voice actor? Because it's a very hard industry to get into. It's almost like you have to have a certain voice. But she said, don't get discouraged. Just keep putting out content. Make a reel for yourself. Put yourself out there. Force it down people's throats in a way. And it will just happen out of the blue. And I feel that's what's going to happen with this podcast. We have a couple episodes in mind where we're going to do like a wheel of impressions, where all of us want to take turns and being like, okay, we're rolling this. You got to do an impression of this person talking. And then I'll have a topic saying, talk about global warming or making the perfect sandwich, something like that. And whose ever turn it is, they have to try their best to impersonate the person that I'm mentioning, or however, cartoon character, anything. Use your best voice and describe to me the perfect sandwich. It could be funny, however. A lot of my ideas I am getting from Distractable because that's the main podcast I'm listening to. And I try my damnedest not to like take any of their content away, because that is not okay. I want to have my own original content, so I try not to do everything like them, like their point system. They do points, they have a winner each week, so that way that one person is hosting the following week, and so on and so forth. That is not us. We just sit here, we talk, we have topics to talk about, and have a good time. So that's what I plan to do soon, is do a wheel of impressions. Then do a couple of quizzes. Go back into talking about like, ghosts and aliens and, the unknown, all that. There's so many topics I want to go over that could be fun, that could extend an episode for a long period of time. And I know one big episode where I want it to be video is when I finally get to interview my nephew Deuce, like I did before on the podcast Hazard Inc., where that episode blew up. Took me by surprise. Well, not by surprise. Everybody was listening to it. Everybody was sharing it. And it just blew up because multiple people were listening. Everybody was listening multiple times throughout the day. So I want to do a video one. I have notes because he is going to a new college. This is his final year. He's a graduate now and going into college basketball. And hopefully next year I can interview him again and he's possibly on an NBA team. Who knows? But I want to do that in the next coming weeks eventually and just keep going and ride the coattails, ride the wave, and just keep it going, keeping content coming in. And eventually, I do want to try to start doing voiceover work. And I need to learn how to edit myself because getting an editor is expensive, very expensive. And I don't have that kind of money right now. But that's me, Lou. I'm glad you came here to listen to me talk, whether if it was me rambling or however. But thank you. I know it's a shorter episode than usual, but I'm glad you tuned in. And I'll see you next week, where all of us will probably be back. So, catch you later, everybody.